What's going on, guys? Welcome to BG Behind the Deals. I'm your host, Tyler Wynn. We have a very special guest, Miss Lauren Tram. Welcome. She's a real estate expert. I was just telling her before we got filming here that she's amazing at investment. She is just so passionate about why, the investment transaction piece of it, helping investors, helping people own homes, right? And not even being aware of that they can do multiple deals in 1 year, right? Lauren, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Tyler.
Yeah.
It's like such a pleasure, and honestly, love your work. I'm really, really honored to be here. So thank you so much for the invite.
No, it means a lot to me. And I literally just saw Lauren at a Miss Vietnamese beauty pageant. She was amazing. She was stunning. So kudos to
I only
you.
kept score, guys. I did not compete.
Not this year. Yeah.
2017.
No, just that year. So no, you guys did an amazing job. I was really impressed. So kudos to your organization out there. But let's talk. How's your day? And one thing, guys, I want to mention about Lauren. She is such a positive person. I had to give her a shout out for that. Like, I love being around people like her. It just brings your energy level to a different level, and you should be like this all the time. So.
Well, I appreciate Tyler. I want to say the same thing about you. I've always loved your energy and everything that you give, especially to just the Vietnamese community, the community itself, and your clients.
Yeah.
I'm a fan just because I feel like just especially in this industry. It's more than just being a person that services. It's almost kind of like being a professional friend.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's kind of like what you bring to the table, right?
I appreciate that.
And so I think that's why a lot of people love you, because you yourself are not just the owner of Bluegrey Mortgage, but also you have all these insights about the market, the real estate market. That's just incredible.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can kind of bring that to the table, educate your audience members, I think that's just so key, because education in this real estate realm is so important.
It's huge. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And it's clients like you that help me, grow better, because I always listen to your stories, what's going on with the transaction, or what you accomplished, what was the things that went wrong or whatever. And I think that's how you really learn, and get better at your craft and make better decisions about future deals or whatnot. But I had this situation where you just told me about it, about closing 2 deals in 1 year. How did you do that? Can you share?
Yes, no, most definitely. So, first and foremost, I love real estate with a passion. More so definitely on the real estate investment side.
Mm-hmm.
I think that everyone should get into it. I truly believe that real estate is one of those things where every successful person you meet, they have their hand in real estate in some way.
Yeah.
And so it's almost kind of like a 3-play.
Right.
One, you can basically leverage the equity. Real estate is just something that grows over time through appreciation, throughout history. So unlike the stock market, it fluctuates. Yeah. And so I think just leveraging that equity is amazing, because then you can kind of build upon it and buy more properties.
Exactly.
So my thing is, always definitely, it's always the first deal.
Right.
Once you get that first home, it just exponentially kind of grows from then on, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's a lesson in and of itself, because I think people try to time the market, but they should definitely spend time in the market.
I love that line, guys. Love that. Just say that one more time.
Instead of timing the market, you should spend time in the market.
There you go, guys. This knowledge bomb just dropped by Lauren. So.
All sprinkled.
Exactly.
Just knowledge drops,
Exactly. And I always tell clients, every market has its opportunities, right?
Definitely.
So it doesn't have to be, let's wait till the rates drop, or let's see how it goes. Don't be scared. If the numbers work out, it works out. There's no second guessing it, right?
Definitely.
And I think just like any entrepreneur, you have to take chances to get rewards, right? So, but yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you 100%.
No, definitely. And so that kind of goes into the example with my I would say double deal. Yeah. So essentially I'm a part of investment group.
Yep.
And we just knew from the top of our heads that we were going to try to buy a property within that specific year. Mm-hmm. And so obviously going to what you're saying, you have to do your analysis. You have to look through deals. Mm-hmm. Pretty much you have to be in the market. You can't time it. Yeah. And essentially we didn't go through analysis paralysis. We literally looked at every single possibility, and we found a property in St. Pete, and then pretty much after everything, it was for $218,000.
Wow.
And it was a small property. It was 900 square feet. But hey,
a
win is a win.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, that's awesome.
So it was basically a little bit over 900 square feet property in St. Pete. Basically, 3-bedroom, 1 bathroom.
Wow.
And essentially we did a BRRRR. And for those of you that are just getting into real estate, BRRRR is essentially where you buy a property, you either like, renovate it or rent it out, and then you refinance it and then pretty much like rent it out. So essentially you force appreciation through those renovations.
Right.
And so with that 218,000, property sale, we put 60K in renovations, and then, did an appraisal.
Right.
And essentially when the appraisal came in, it came out to be $345,000. And so we were able to pay ourselves back, pay our private money lender, which if you guys aren't aware, it's essentially someone coming in and acting as a bank for you.
Yep.
And so it's pretty cool. And so we pay back our money lender, our private money lender, we pay back ourselves, and then we put the rest of our money into our second property. And so that whole process was within 4 months. And then even with the renovations.
No, that's amazing,
like when you're locked in, you're locked in. So like that's why
impressive for your first property like that,
Definitely. And then pretty much like after that, putting that into the second property, we chose almost like a short-term rental market, like winter vacations and stuff. So we chose Pensacola.
Nice.
So we put that money into pretty much the second property, and so that was how we were able to do a 2-property in 1 year situation.
Wow, and and again, when the opportunity arises, you have to take it. Right?
Definitely.
And I guess timing is everything. Sometimes, when you're doing this stuff, you never know what will happen. But it seems like you guys were pretty organized and detail-oriented enough to know, hey, this is going to work, I guess, right? So
definitely. And
was it scary though? Like I always like to talk about the first investment purchase. Was it scary for you? What was your thought process like, and what did it make you pull the trigger?
I think honestly, analysis paralysis will always hit you, right? But at the end of the day, if you're already looking at the property, you almost have your foot in already, right? And at that point, you always have to know that, you date the rate, you marry the home. So essentially the rate, you can always refinance back, and we were just really lucky with the situation, and now homes are just so pricey. But to answer your question, essentially there is always fear, but I feel like fear is parallel to success. If there 100%. Is no fear alongside it, how can you be successful?
Exactly.
It's probably not a good deal at that point if you're not afraid of what's to come.
Exactly. Now, are you a big believer in just going with your gut instinct?
For sure.
I'm always like that, right?
For sure.
Sometimes you second guess yourself. You're like, man, should I don't feel right, but I'm just gonna do it. And then it's backward. It just messes up everything, right? So again, I think in this industry too, you just gotta go with your gut instinct.
Definitely.
It feels right. I literally was just talking to a client. She's from Missouri and buying her first rental property here in Florida. She owns rental properties over there, and she's like, Tyler, I got a quote for insurance $10,000. I love the property, but I just can't. I don't know. I should do it. And I was like, listen, if the numbers don't work out, don't do it. But $10,000 for a $450,000 house is a lot. And so I told her I would advise against it. Of course, I don't want to lose a deal, but that's the only right thing, because it was right. The numbers are just too high. And the crazy thing is, one of my insurance partners that I work with, he said to her the same thing. So she, you know what though, it made her feel so much better working with us. We're telling the truth. We're not trying to sell her, right? And it's just, that's who you should be looking for when you're working with professionals. It's just, be transparent. You got to protect people. You're only human. You got to watch out for people, because some people, they don't live here. They're leaning on your expertise as a realtor, as a lender, as an insurance agent to give them the best, advice possible, right? So
definitely being that professional friend, mentioned. No, I love that.
Yeah.
And if I can share my my story in terms of what got me into real estate.
Yes, please. I would love to hear that. Yeah.
So my husband and I, we bought our first joint property together in 2019, and at the time, it was really funny. The process was amazing. We had an amazing realtor. Everything was great. But even then, we kept on thinking, oh, is this a good deal?
Right.
Did we get a good deal?
Right.
We even lowballed the offer and got it. It was under appraisal. We still kept thinking, oh,
that was
did we
good
get a
time to
good
buy
deal?
too. That was a really good time to buy. 19,
Definitely. Definitely. And then when we came back, from a vacation, 2020 hit, COVID hit, and then, the historical mortgage, low rates, everyone kind of
appreciation
coming in,
of property,
multiple offers, and making it a super competitive market for buyers to buy. So at the time, I guess it's more of a lesson that just how you can't time the market, spending time in the market is really key, because even when we were doing our deal, we kept thinking we weren't like, winning. But we were actually, but we actually won quite a bit. So it's kind of like, at the end of the day, when you reflect on it, everything that happens for a reason, and so you have to follow with your gut.
For sure.
And so that whole transaction actually inspired me to get into real estate. So I really loved it. I think it made me want to bring more transparency along the process to my clients, and I'm sure you do the same as well. Just because I feel like there's just so much going on, and people can get lost completely 100 steps away.
There's so much involved, right? Like there's so much moving pieces that you have to you're the coach. You got to do the play-by-play of what to expect, right?
Yeah, communication is key, 100%. and I feel like for the most part, the best ones that do it are the ones that just completely just make you feel as if your hand is held the whole entire way.
Yeah. Communication.
Definitely.
Communicator.
Definitely. And I really want to know more about your story too, because I feel like I'm not sure a lot of people know that you do more than just the first time home buyer, type of programs, things like that. I love I love what you do because you do your research. I feel like you go above and beyond, and you're always in the market doing research, keeping up with current trends, current updates. And I feel like sometimes, that's not necessarily, the common thing, the norm. So I love the fact that you probably, do all that. Can you maybe share more everything that you do with creative financing and things like that?
Yeah, 100%. I appreciate that. No, honestly, we work with a lot of investors. Our portfolio business is very diverse. We have first-time home buyers. We're working with people that are, investors with multiple homes, right? And then we also work with professionals that, are self-employed, that own businesses that have, create their financing on paper is just not what they truly make. So we're used to getting creative. Giving solutions is probably the key, but I got, this is just something that I had a bad experience when I first got a loan. So my first home, I would say my second home in Florida, had the worst situation I ever had. So that got me into real estate, but I was always intrigued about flipping homes and stuff. Like when I was younger, we would watch TV about these first house flip shows and stuff. Like, oh my God, it looks so cool. You make so much money and this and that. So I really always wanted to do it, but I was kind of scared at first, right? So I didn't do it when I had the opportunity. The second time went around, and I was like, I'm taking it. I'm going to do it. I don't care if I lose money, make money. It's something that I just want to take a chance. And then I've always been an entrepreneur. So I think the entrepreneur spirit is like, well, what you have to lose is everything is a learning lesson to me, right? If I take a loss, I'm going to learn from my mistake and don't do that again, right? So I think that was key, is just, taking risks and a calculated risk, though, like you were saying, you're doing your due diligence. And when I first got into really investing in property, I was flipping properties, and I would, this is probably about 2014, 13, around that range, where I was buying a house on auction, like the county auction websites, right? So I ended up getting my funds, and then I was doing my research, and I linked up with a title company, did all my lien search, make sure there was any open judgments, anything that I wouldn't know about. So I spent a lot of money on just lien search. I was in 10, 15 properties, and then I was like, okay, this is the one. And I remember bidding online, and I was like, this was the craziest thing. It was almost 300,000 that we spent, and we're like, you have to pay cash the next day, right? It was very nerve-wracking, but I was like, I think I can make money off this house. I did it. I pulled the trigger. I paid it. Went to the county the next day, got it, and got in the house. Everything that could go wrong in that house was wrong.
Oh my gosh.
It had a squatter in there. The guy had all his crap in the garage. It was packed, right? And there was I guess I missed some lien. They had Tico liens, the electric lien on it, and all this stuff. And I had to jump through hoops. Found out I had termites. I didn't know nothing. So again, everything that could go wrong went wrong in that deal. And I did make money. I probably made 20 grand, maybe all that work I did. But I was fast, just like you did it. Within a month time frame, I got a month and a half maybe, I got it under contract, sold it. But it was just starting to pick up at that time. But it was scary, and I was like, oh my gosh, but it was exciting at the same time, right? So I love that feeling, and it just motivated me. And then this is how I got into the loan business. Was I had when I started flipping, I got my real estate license at that time, and I had to hang it somewhere, so I hang it with a Remax company. They didn't have a in-house lender yet, and I was like, I love numbers, so why not try this? So I asked my broker at the time, I said, hey, if I get my real mortgage license, can I be a preferred lender? She's like, yeah, sure. Didn't even get that. I got the license, but I ended up not being the preferred lender. But it worked out. It got me in my foot in the door to the mortgage industry, and it was just a trial and error. And I was like, one thing I noticed was there was a lack of leadership in the financial realm as a loan officer in the Vietnamese community. So it got me to get in the market, and I luckily would thrive at the right time, right? So and then just I would say the next thing is just like always have. Like I joined ARIA. I'm sure you know ARIA. It's a nonprofit real estate organization for Asian Americans, right? So I got lucky. I joined it when it first opened here in Tampa. It taught me so much, right? Like I was learning how to network, learning how to build relationship with these people, and just being part of a board, like what that entails, and it got me to that kind of like leadership role, right? But it's just connections in this business and real estate, as you know, it's the connections. Like you're in the real estate group, why? Because the connections of it's the camaraderie of learning all the stuff that you need to learn that you don't know, right? And I'm telling you, it's the stories of like the failures is where you learn the most, right?
100%.
So you just don't do that. But yeah, I mean, I've always been passionate about real estate. I invest myself, like Lauren says, and it's just one of those things that I agree. It's appreciation. I want to hold it, and when I get the property, I find a tenant. That's my main thing: is find a tenant right away, and it's out of sight, out of mind after that. So and then you just keep on going. You just keep on going. You don't think about all I think about is breaking even. I don't know about you right now in this market. What do you like? What's your goal? Are you cash flowing, or are you?
So I have a couple properties, but there is cash flow in one, and that's one's in Orlando.
Right.
And then for everything else, I think we've been shifting. The
Good.
trend now,
Right.
as maybe you've probably seen with clients, is
Right.
a lot of shifting towards short-term rental to like either mid-term rental, where people
like
are renting
that.
like 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
To travel, nurses or
Right.
traveling doctors,
Right.
or long-term. Just
Nice.
because I guess now that COVID's kind of gone, kind of,
Yeah.
people don't really want to stay in the States. They're
Yeah.
traveling, so
Yeah.
these short-term Airbnb rentals aren't necessarily making the money that they used to
Right.
see before.
Right.
So I think the cool thing about real estate is there is multiple exit strategies.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's like the cool part about just like the real estate piece in and of itself. There's just so many different ways you can play it, and ultimately it's just a really, really great way to kind of just learn more about what's out there too.
Yeah, 100%. What's your next goal? What's your goals for this year? Any real estate goals or anything like that you guys plan to do?
Definitely want to look for the next Burr deal.
Yeah.
So I think for the most part, I'm a part of a real estate investing community. Shout out to Zen Coast in California. It's filled with people with amazing stories, and they're all human beings that genuinely want to help each other out.
That's awesome.
And so there's multiple coaches there, and there's a couple that do burrs and multi-units, and so I've gotten the chance to kind of learn through them and from them, and definitely really want to kind of take that and transaction it into the next realm of what's the possibilities for this upcoming year.
That's awesome.
So I'm super excited for that, and if you guys are also interested too, we can definitely talk more about burrs and multi-units and future upcoming videos.
I would love that. Yeah, and Lauren will be on the next episode to explain about burr and all that. So yeah, no, it's great. And I mean, right now, how do you feel about the market? I mean, just your personal.
I'm positive, like you said. I'm always positive.
Right.
Weren't you the one that told me, survive until 25?
Yep.
Do you feel like it's still the same as well too? I personally am positive just because I know that I'm personally a huge buy and hold person. I know that it's like a 3-play, like I said, it appreciates the potential for cash flow, and then multiple different strategies like leveraging that equity to buy more future properties. And so for me, I know that the shift now is from, it used to be a seller's market. I see more as a buyer's market now, where people have more leverage to actually, put more into the offer. They don't have to give up their firstborn or like their dog on top of their offer to be able to buy a home from the seller.
No, I agree with you 100%. I think there's opportunity this year. I think that, like you said, it's a buyer's market right now. And right now, the past couple months, the rates have been trending down.
Mm-hmm.
So as you see the rates trend down, it's going to pick up because there was a lot of people on the sidelines for the past few years now that I've noticed I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of waiting. I want to buy now. So once the opportunity comes, they're going to buy. So I think there's opportunity, especially right now. I think the first, second quarter is where you're going to be able to get good deals still. Third quarter, and it tends to slow down in the fourth quarter, but I feel like we're going to have a strong fourth quarter just due to the rates. If it keeps on trending the way it is, I think it's going to be a strong market for a fourth quarter. But yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. Now is the time. I personally, if I find a good deal, I'm going to buy it. So I just feel like it's just one of those things that you would never lose. It's Florida, I don't know, everybody's market's different, but Florida market, it feels just different feel because like the weather's good, people want to be here. You got tax benefits, and there's just good deals, and it will appreciate higher at a higher or a faster amount, faster time period. So I agree with you. It's a good time right now. So
yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
Do you have any like lessons that you want to share in terms of like people that are looking to like buy? Like I know for one, there were so many miscommunication and common misconceptions around like just the lending aspect.
Right.
I feel like getting your finances in order is like the most important thing, right?
100%.
So I don't think people know that like you should have like 2 years worth of like solid work experience.
Right.
You should work with a mortgage loan originator because like it's kind of like having a budget. Like how do you know what to do if you don't know where your budget is?
No, I agree with you 100%. Yeah, I think it's been like that for the longest time where everybody goes, oh, I need to buy a house. Go straight to a realtor, right? And they'll do that first. But yeah, I think, as of late, I've been noticing, again, professionals like you educate the consumer that you need to work on your finances first so we can know what exactly to show you or, what house that you could afford, right? Because I think there's a spreadsheet. You see this beautiful house on Zillow. You're like, I want to live there. Mm-hmm. And then you get the monthly payment. You're like, I can't do that. So it's very important to understand, hey, think about what it is that you can afford, that you will be comfortable with, right? I think that's the biggest thing. And then how much money do you want to come out of pocket, right? I mean, that's always another thing too. So those are the two things that I would probably focus on most. But I think it's got a lot better thanks to, professionals like you that educate the consumer. Because again, it was a lot of misconception where they go straight to the realtors, and that's what they do. But and there's some people like, I'm solid, I'm good for it, da da da. And thank God, probably half of the time they are good, but the other half is like, no, you're not good. so that's where it gives us time to structure and give them like guidance of, hey, this is what you need to do first before you go here, right? But yeah, I think it's gotten better, but you definitely need to work always on your finance first, because no money, no honey, they say. So
that's so true, and we need that honey.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like this is a good lesson in of itself, and like how to just structure a really good negotiation offer, right? Just because I don't think people understand that when agents are talking to each other, having a whole team, a very solid team of like just like a really good, dependable mortgage loan originator lender helps out actually like winning the deal in the end. Just having someone such as yourself actually picking up the phone and actually talking to like the other like agent, the listing agent, just kind of like saying, oh no, they're good on the money aspect, gives like the other side of peace of mind. And I feel like those are like the types of things that people don't really talk about. They just kind of go towards like the corporate, like bigger companies. And honestly, most of the time, a lot of them don't even pick up the phones. It takes like weeks to get back to them. So
I've heard that story too. And again, it's just again, being educated about what a mortgage broker is or whatever, right? At the end of the day, mortgage brokers, they have to take more of a risk because they have to go get their own clientele. It's not somebody's coming to the bank or whatever. So we value our clients. We really like to take care and make sure 100% they're good with their financing, because just like anybody else, I want to see them go in their home or own their home, and and everybody wins. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think like my name's Lauren Wynn, so I'm all about that win-win situation. And I feel like that's like the common thing about like real estate. Like at the end of the day, everyone's going to win in some way. Your home's going to be sold, your home, like a home is going to be bought, and at the end of the day, appreciation is to be had.
Right? It's so funny you mentioned that. Every morning I drop off my daughter, right? And I tell her, when she's about to leave the door, It's like, remember, you're a win. All we do is win. Every day. She's
So
like,
true.
she rolls her eyes and walks away, you know. Like,
You should start just playing it in the background as you're driving away. That'd be hilarious.
I know. I'm going to do that one day. Yeah, you're going to be embarrassed as heck.
Oh, and then like, that should be your ringtone. So whenever she calls, or whenever you call her.
That's hilarious. I want to do that. But Lauren, it's a pleasure to have you today.
Oh man, this has been
you've been
awesome.
dropping some bombs. Where can people find you?
Well, essentially, I'm very, very active on social media. So you can find me at lauren.tram on Instagram. And then feel free to always reach out on my email, and we'll send the link below. But for the most part, always feel free to reach out. I'm super active and would love to just, make more friends and just kind of give just insights and quality content and advice, because at the end of the day, I'm sure you resonate with the same thing, but my mantra in life is just to give until I can't give anymore.
I love that.
So essentially if it's just advice that'll help you guys along the way, definitely always there to help.
Again, Laura's an amazing person. Definitely reach out to her if you have any questions, and she'll be back, guys. So I can't wait for her. So
thank you so much again,
guys,
Tyler.
thank you guys. Good stuff. All right.